Welcome to the first video on Name Manager. In this video, we're going to talk about how the Name Manager works and why it's important to incorporate it into our spreadsheets. Let's start off with the how, and specifically, where is the Name Manager located? So let me pop down the ribbon with Control 1, and you can see here it's in the ribbon on the Formulas tab, and there's a button here, and it's really this whole box. This whole box is an area that takes care of the Name Manager. And you can quickly see that it pops up that Control F3, as I've listed down here, is the shortcut key to also clicking this button. So I can click this button or Control F3. Either way works. And we can pop in here and make some new named ranges by clicking the New button. Or instead of using the New button, you can use Control Shift and F3. This will create a name from the selection that you have. So say you have these two selected. If I do Control Shift F3, Excel is going to create a name from the selection, and I can say the left column, meaning this left side, will be the name, Control plus Shift plus F3, and that will be referred to as this cell to the right. So I'm not going to do this right now. Another way to do this would be to go ahead and just simply type in the name box saying this cell that I'm in right now, B10, we can change this up here in the name box. This is what Excel refers to as name box, and we can label it as such. So name underscore box and hit enter. Now, whenever I select on B10, name box appears here in the name box. Or if I select on B11, only B11 is shown. But I can switch this to apply underscore name. Now it's important, as you can see here, that I've included an underscore. So you can't have any spaces in the name box when you're naming something. And then another thing to be careful of is when you're naming something, say for example, jet, J-E-T, and then we'll put a 1 there. So Excel actually has that J-E-T. That is actually a column on the top here, way far to the right. So if I hit enter now, I'm actually going to pop all the way over here to jet number 1. So it's a quick go-to function. I'm going to go back to cell A1 just by typing that and hitting enter, and it will bring me back to cell A1. Also, since I've typed in name box and apply name as both reference cells, you can see here that I have a drop-down arrow, and it has both of the two defined names that I've entered. So I can quickly snap to that spot just like I did with jet 1 and A1 just by selecting name box, and my selection goes here. Now this next part about applying my name, so let's say in this cell I have equals B10, and I'm going to hit enter. So that equals name box because that's the value here. Just like if I put test here, test will pop up, and that makes sense. I'm going to undo that. But here's the thing. If I hit F2 and pop into the formula, B10 is not very intuitive of what I'm doing. So instead, since this cell is named as name box, it'd be much better to just type in name box. We can quickly go up here to the ribbon and under define names hit the drop down and click apply names. If these are both not selected, just select them both or select the one you want, then press OK. And now you can see that it's still the same value, but if I hit F2, it's now switched to name box. So that's applying the name and inserting into your formula. Another way you could do this is just hitting delete and start typing name, and quickly Excel picks up that there's a named cell called name underscore box, and from here you can just hit tab and enter. Now let me collapse the ribbon real quick with Control F1, and let's talk about the why, and why do we specifically even care about using the name manager? I mean, isn't it fine just to type A1 equals A1 and just be done with it? The thing is that most people find it a little bit easier to read your formulas if you have it stated out saying something more intuitive like name box versus B10. And so for that purpose, it's much easier to read it. Then it basically goes in the same thing about the readability, is that the integrity is there. Because somebody, if they're looking at your formula, they're not searching for all of your letters saying like F7 plus B9 divided by C13 and looking at what do each one of those represent. Instead, these values could have names to them which would make sense to the reader, saying February plus March divided by the total would give you an average. And so that would make much more sense intuitively as a formula rather than reading cell references. So let me escape out of this. So if you start getting into using the name manager more often, make sure you continue to use it throughout your spreadsheets, throughout your workbooks, so that you can build a reputation on how you work within your spreadsheets. And then lastly, makes things much easier when you're working between worksheet tabs. Now make sure you go ahead and take a peek at the next couple videos where we're going to be taking a look into how we can use the name manager on a daily basis in real life examples.